it's Christine, the Puppet Girl, and I had a few people request that I make a video showing you how to turn stuffed animals into puppets. So I'm gonna do that. I got this little guy here at the Goodwill because he's cute, and this one here. And so I was gonna talk a little bit about the type of stuffed animal that you choose. So this one's one of those stuffies, and the mouth is already built in to have like a mouth, and then you just put a little something in here to provide a little bit of firmness, and then you cut the hole where you want it and put it in. I mean, she's got a hole built in her back, so if I wanted her to sit up like this as a cat, I could use the hole that's already built into her back, cut through there a little bit, and then use the mouth. I mean, in a pinch, if you really needed a puppet right away and you had a stuffy like this laying around, you could just cut a hole in the back that's already there and just put your hand up in there and then make her talk. But obviously we want to make it a little bit more long lasting. And then for this guy, this is just doesn't have a mouth. So we're going to rip out the seams here and cut a hole in the back and take out some of the stuffing and we're going to build a mouth for him. And then I'm gonna go through the back of his head, so it'll be just like this. It'll look like that. And we're gonna build a mouth on him. Yeah. One of the main things you want to make sure of is that your stuffed animal that you choose to make a puppet has an area big enough for the mouth. So if you pick a teddy bear or something and the mouth's really small, you may not have enough room for your hands. So you make sure that it has a big enough area to create a mouth that your hand can go inside of. In order to start your puppet making adventure, I would suggest getting your stuffed animal ready, getting a pair of scissors, a seam ripper, a hot glue gun, and some felt to create the mouth with. Also some cardboard or plastic to create the support. And I use socks because they're already pre-made. Basically, I'll take a sock as the, here. Show you. So basically I make it where I put my hand inside the sock, and then we'll have the sock attached to the support so that when you do this, it's your hand's in something and it's not in just like random stuffing. So this protects your hand from getting stuffing all over the place, and then you'll sew the end of the sock to wherever the exit or entrance wound is for the wound. I just called it a wound. The entrance or exit area for your hand will be sewn into it, or glued if you want, but sewing it's better. All right, I'm going to take my seam ripper and rip apart the seam that goes along here on this little giraffe. If there's no seam there, you can just take your scissors and cut it. I mean, I can take my scissors and cut it, but there's a seam, and so I might as well just rip it out. Get half of his mouth apart. All right, so I've taken out the seam of his mouth. I'm just going to pull this out for right now, so I have a way to get to his head. All right, so that's that. Okay, so now I have a big spot here for his mouth. Actually, you can do this with the felt itself if you want, and just kind of measure it out, but I would recommend using a piece of paper and a pen. So now I'm going to take a piece of paper and I'm going to fold it in half. It's just scratch paper. It's got some old printing on it. And I'm going to put it here to figure out where the mouth would be. So I want to figure out where it's going to be, so I'm going to draw around the mouth with the paper. Whoops. And if you can keep a little bit of stuffing in it, because my top of my mouth's going to have a lot of stuffing in it, because I want it to hold its shape so I get the right size, because the shape of it might change a little bit if it's empty than if it's full. So I'm going to trace around here. I have that, and I have this part. Then I'm going to take that, and I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to trace it onto my cardboard, which is what I'm using for the inside of the mouth. So let's do that. I'm using an old cat food box because it's the case that my cat food comes in. Don't use your good scissors on paper or cardboard. These are actually my old crappy scissors. I have like, I don't know, probably 50 pairs of scissors in my house. All right, so I'm gonna use where this happens to be folded, but you can do it two ways. You can either do it so that, I'm just tracing the pattern here. You can do it so that it's on a crease already, or you can do it so you you do two separate pieces, and you can just take duct tape and tape it together at the crease part rather than where the fold is. So that's that. So trace this onto here, and I'm going to cut it out. Again, if you have a blade, like a razor blade, that makes it way easier. I just don't have a razor blade, and I've already cut myself once today, and that was a paper cut that just wouldn't stop bleeding. So I figured I'm not going to mess with the razor blade today. It's just not been one of those days that it's very good, so I'm just going to avoid all chances of cutting myself with a razor blade by not using a razor blade. Okay, so now I have this thing. So now what I need to do is glue some felt onto this, and this is going to go inside of the mouth of the puppet. And then we are going to glue, there we go. Then we're going to glue this part around the felt. I mean, I guess you could sew it if you really wanted to. I'm going to glue it because I want to get this done quicker. And glue holds up okay. It's fine. So I checked it, it fits. I want to do the inside of his mouth black. So I'm going to trace this onto here and then cut it out. And now that I've cut it out, I need to glue it on. Remember to be careful when you're working with hot glue guns because they're hot and you could burn yourself. So you want to be careful not to burn yourself. Also, you don't want to get hot glue all over the place, so you want to sit it on something. I like to leave mine on some paper. So I'm going to, again, seam rip out the back. If there's no seam there to rip, you can just cut it with scissors. This guy has some pretty loose tied seams. So, oops. Wow. Just cut that. See what, oh, there we go. See what happens. There's that. So that's good. To the top there. You just want to make sure it's big enough for your hand to comfortably get in. And again, I recommend using the seam ripper, not the scissors, but this guy looks like maybe somebody had to sew him together. That was the problem. It looks like maybe somebody's mom had to fix him at some point. But now you can see hole in the back, and my hand will go here for the mouth. There, like that. So you want to glue this down to the cardboard. So now you have a little flappy thing here that will be the mouth. You're going to take this piece and put it inside the mouth, and then you're going to glue or sew the mouth around it on the outside here so that it matches up like little lips, so the inside of the mouth is the color that you want. So always make sure you have all your supplies before you begin, because what could be an hour and a half project is going to be a 2-day project for me, because it's the middle of the night and no stores are open and I can't find my glue sticks for my hot glue gun, and I need to hot glue the rest of this mouth down. So I will continue this project tomorrow. So I made one of the biggest mistakes you can do when doing any sort of project, and I assumed that I had everything I needed when in fact I couldn't remember where my glue sticks were. So I had to run out and get glue sticks, but because I was doing this in the middle of the night, I couldn't go get glue sticks until later, so it's been a few days. I'm going to put a little tongue in my giraffe's mouth. So I'm going to draw just a little tongue on red felt, cut it out, and glue it in the mouth. There's a trick too. You can fold it in half. That makes it, you can cut it even. So I'm just going to trim it up a little bit. And I just wanted to draw a little line in it because I like it, but you don't have to. You can just leave it like this if you want. And glue it in with the hot glue gun. If you're planning on getting a lot of use out of your puppet or doing a lot of wear and tear on it, then you probably want to use like one of the bonding glues like cements or something. But for my purposes, this will work just fine. Now I'm just pushing the stuffing back down into the nose. Depending on what type of stuffed animal you used. What'd you do, Stitch? What? So, now that you've pushed all the stuffing down into the nose and the mouth and made it look like a normal stuffed puppet animal, you want to put your hand in and see how it moves. Everything should work really well. He's super cute. You're super cute. But you don't really want to put your hand in with all this like crazy stuffing because it'll like be funky. So what I do is I'm going to take a sock. I'm going to put my hand in the sock. I just am using old socks from like, this is an old sock. It's clean, but we were throwing it out anyway because it lost its partner. So now, this little hand puppet, I'm going to stick my hand in here and feel where it goes comfortably. And you can do this part before or after you glue in the mouth. It's actually probably easier before, but then what you want to do is either tack it down inside with the needle and thread or glue it inside the head. So you can turn it inside out, or if you have like the bonding stuff that works quicker, you can just put it on there and stick it in. You don't want to put hot glue on your sock directly and stick it in because your hand is in here and you don't want to burn your hand. That's where it goes. It's comfortable there. And then I'm going to look and I'm going to measure on the sock, and I can draw on it and then trim it. I can cut it and then sew this up to the sock. So you're just going to stitch it up to the sock, and then that's it. Then you'll have your puppet. Yay. Say hi to everybody.
Hello, I'm a giraffe. I don't have a name yet, but she just made me.
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Christine. Thank you for making me.
And that's how you make a puppet.